Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're playing No Name Yet, which I think is a kind of an oxymoron of a name for a Sudoku puzzle. But if I wanted to try and imagine a thumbnail with that sort of name, well, really the best I can think of is when you have a new baby born, or, well, a newly adopted dog, and you haven't given it a name yet, which is essentially what I've tried to depict in here. A young couple adopting a dog for the first time. They're all meeting potential rescue dogs to actually take home at a coffee shop somewhere. This is not far off, essentially, the story of how we met our first dog. We went to like a rescue group. They were essentially sort of advertising themselves in a shopping mall. We met a few potential dogs, and I guess a few days later we had our very own first dog from that group before we went one for a second one 2 years later. But an absolutely phenomenal day and just a great joy for us. We were very, very lucky with the dogs that we adopted. Right, that's enough of this thumbnail. Let's take a look at today's puzzle. Now, as I bring it up, I'm just going to warn you that there's a lot of rules, and as a result, the font size is quite small. But that shouldn't matter because, as always, the rule sets are in the description down below if you want to follow along. But I will take you through the rule sets fairly quickly, just as a quick reminder of what they all mean. So first rule, fairly obvious, means normal Sudoku rules apply. Place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, in every column, and every 3x3 box without any repeats. We have XV pairs, so cells joined by an X, such as this one, must sum up to a 10. If this is a 2, this would have to be an 8, for example, so that these two cells add up to 10. Then we have Vs. So cells joined by a V must sum up to 5, so if that was a 2, this would have to be a 3. Now, the key thing here is that there are no negative constraints. So nothing stops me, for example, from having 3 next to a 7. Nothing stops me from having, let's have a think, what would it be? Well, I don't have another example, but 1 and 4 in here. That doesn't have an X, that doesn't have a V. That's not a problem, it doesn't break the rule set. We have white kropki pairs, between them are consecutive. So we've got an 8 in here. This would have to be a consecutive number next to the 8. This is 7 or 9 as an example. We also have a difference kropki, a ratio kropki. So cells with a black kropki between them are in a ratio of 1 to 2. So we've got already an 8 in here. On the other side of that black kropki would be a 4 as an example. And again, no negative constraints apply. So what would be a good example? I mean, clearly the 2 and 3 is a good example of that. Yes, there is a V, but at the same time, there are no white dots between them. What else can we say? We've got kropkis covered. So 3 lines: the entropic line, the salmon, the parity line, the orange, and the modular 3 line, the red. So let's start with the entropic line. So every 3 consecutive cells along an entropic line, such as this one, must contain a low digit, such as 1, 2, 3, a middle digit, such as 4, 5, 6, and a high digit, such as 7, 8, 9. Now, the emphasis here is in every 3 consecutive sets. So I've only done 3 of this 4-cell line. So this one must contain 1 of each set. I've already got middle, I've got high. This needs to be low again. Now, I just happen to pick the order of these. Nothing stops me from having something more ridiculous like 4, 1, 9, and then 5. That would be a valid fill out where these are middle digits. This is a low, this is a high. There is really no order or constriction around that. Next, we also have the parity lines, the orange lines. So digits along a parity line alternate between odd and even. So if this was a 4, this would have to be a odd digit. Let's go with 3. This would have to be an even digit again. Let's go with 8. So as long as you're alternating between these, you're absolutely fine. Lastly, the modular line, and the one that I'm much more likely to get wrong. So every 3 consecutive cells along a 3 modular line must contain a complete set of residual modulo 3, i.e. 1 from 147, 258, and 369. Now remember, it's the same sort of rule in that every 3 must contain 1 from each set. Sorry, I meant to say 4 and I meant to say 8. That's looking better. So these two cells, well, what about this third one? Well, this clearly has to be from the 147 set. And then once again, these three, this would have to be from the 258 set. Once again, I just read them out in that order. It doesn't have to be in this order. So I could do something like 8, 7, let's go with 6. And then we're back to 2. And then finally a 4 for the finish. That would be a valid fill for this 3 modulo line. So, only thing left to say now is, if you feel like, well, I mean, I can't really say having a baby and giving it a name, but adopting a dog or a pet into the family and giving it a name so it no longer has no name yet, link will be in the description down below for you to play along as usual. And with that said, I'm going to restart the clock and see how I get on. And I'm immediately drawn to quite a few things on the grid. So the 4 cells with black kropki dots that all have to be unique, the V's, you know, there's a lot that can get us going here. Let's start with the black kropki dots. You know, I almost always go for these if I find them, because they have to be 4 different numbers. They're all in the same row after all. This is the only possible fill for this black kropki dot run. This can only be 3 or 6. So that's really the entire set of black kropki dots, 1, 2, 4, and 8, 3 and 6, all done. Obviously, this had to be 3, 6 because we've already got 3 of the 4 placed in the same box. Even if I put this 1, 8 in here, well, I would have to place the second copy of this 2, 4 in there, and that would break the Sudoku rule sets. Yeah, may as well carry on down here. So this is another 3, 6 because we got literally all 4 of them. Looking at this cell, so this is only 3 or 6, and it is a 3. That's our first digit. Reason is, obviously, if I went with a 6, across from the X needs to be a 10, and that would be a 4, which is not available. So that's 3, that's 7, that's 6, and we're up and running. This now here, this V is from 1, 2, or 4, and this would be from 1, 4, and 3. This is 1, 2, 3, or 4, and these are 1, 2, 3, 4s. Now, the reason I was sort of tempted by these, I may as well, just actually before I get onto the V's, I'm just going to consider the options. So I can go 3, 2, 1. That's one option. The other option is 3, 4, 5. Right. So this is quite an interesting setup with, in particular, the parity line. And I'll explain what I mean by that in a second, especially with the 2 4s as well. So one example of how this could be filled is a 4 with a 1. But remember, this is a parity line, so this now has to be odd, this has to be even. That would be 3, that would be 2. Now, whichever way I fill these out, the 2s and the 4s can't be down here in box 8 because, you know, you've got a 2-4 pair, basically, a virtual 2-4 pair between the V's and these black kropki dots. So 2 and 4 are definitely in here. Now, the other thing that's sort of catching my attention is the nature of these. The fact that this is a V means one has to be even, one has to be odd. Don't know which one it is, but one of them has to be even, one has to be odd. The even one means that there are that many even digits on it. The odd one means whilst these are odd, this has to be even. So we already have 3 of each at an absolute minimum. Now take a look at this white kropki dot run. If I try and put an even in here, and this is sort of a secret of white kropki dots, if you put essentially they always come in pairs that are 1 odd, 1 even. If I put even in here, that would be odd, back to even, and now I have 5 evens, which obviously would break the puzzle. So this has to be even, these have to be odd, this has to be even, and that would be a valid setup for the white kropki dot run. Anyway, a lot of this was not entirely correct. Obviously, this was just to sort of illustrate this. But these now, because we've already placed 1, 2, 3, and 4 in here, these have to be from 6, 8. If I try and fill these in, well, I mean, clearly, whatever's joining the 6, 8 can only be a 7. So I can do 6, 7, 8 with a 9. I could also, of course, do 5, 6, 7, 8 in the reverse order. So that's 5, 9. That's the second 5, 9 to complete row 1. And that was a flurry of activities. So we can kind of repeat this trick that we did in here down there. This is not 2, 4, and I'll show you why. If this is 2, 4, this would have to be 6, 8, so that would be another even digit. Now, it doesn't matter which one of these two I pick. Let's say I put it on the parity line. Well, that would be even, that would be odd, that would be even. We're already at 4 evens. And then at a minimum, I would have a 5th even here in these white kropki dots. So that's 5, that's way too many. Now, I did say it doesn't matter which one you've picked. If I go with this one, again, I have to have an odd, then an even. Well, that's 4 again. That's 5, and I've broken the puzzle one more time. So a long way of saying that this can't be an even digit. This is 2, 4. These are evens. That's odd. That's even. That's even. These are clearly now from 6 and 8, just the remaining options that we have. Only way I can join the 4 and the 6, sorry, these two pairs is a 4 and a 6 with a 5 in the middle. So that's 4, that's 6, that's 8, that's 2. This could be anything, but essentially all of these now are odd. Don't get too comfortable with these colors, by the way. I'm almost certainly going to have to replace them when I get onto the modular line. Maybe even the entropy line. So I think it was helpful to think about parity, clearly where the parity lines are, but I don't know if it's going to be useful outside of these two boxes. So the question is where to next. Row 4 looks incomplete. We can finish it with 5, 6, 9. Can never have a 5 on an X. You know, a 5 in here would mean a second 5 to add up to 10, breaking Sudoku rules. So clearly this is not a 5. 6 or 9 would put 1 or 4 in here, and it's not 1. So if that's 9, that would be 1. That would be 2. 1 and 2 in here. How am I going to get to 5 in here? I remove the 1 and 2. I'm only left with 3, 4. That adds up to 7. So this is forced. This is a 6. This is a 4. The 4 can't be joined with a 3, otherwise we'll have the converse problem. So this has to be a 5. These are not 6s. The 6 now, well, clearly 5 is not available. So this is 7, this is 8, this is 3. These are from 1, 2, and 4. 4 in here means this is not a 1, 4 pair. It's a 2, 3 pair. There we go. And this is a 1, 4 pair. You can see we have low, middle. Yeah, so I'm probably going to lose these parity colors now. Just to sort of show you this. This is low, this is middle. Only way this entropy line now works is if both of these are high. So these are from 7, 8, and 9. One of these two is a 1. Now, obviously, if this is an 8, this would be 7, 9. This would be a 1, 6 pair. In fact, that would be specifically 1 with a 6 in here. If that is a 6, though, then essentially these can be 1, 7, 8, and 9. So I'm not sure I'm going to pencil mark it. I'm just going to leave it as such. 4 in here removes 4 from there. Also removes, by its nature, 1 from here, because the 4 would need a 1 partner. Or I should say, with the 4 removed, the 1 in here would need a 4, and therefore there can't be a 1 in there. There is definitely a 1 in here, meaning this is not a 1. This is a 1. This, you can tell now, is 7, 8, or 9, because it's not 1, 2, 3, or 4, 5, 6. It is, in fact, another. I'm not going to use colors here, actually, because I'm onto a different line. But that gives me a 6, which gives me an 8, which gives me a 9, which gives me a 5. That's excellent. And then what do we need in here? We need 5, 6 to complete the box. The 5 and 6 gives me a 3, then a 6. This is no longer a 3, 7 pair. So without it being a 2, 8 or 4, 6, we know that this is an odd 10. And the options were 1, 9, and 3, 7. We'll take a look at this 3, 7, eliminating both of them from here. So this is 1, 9, this is 1, 9. These are 3 7s. And does that help me? Not really. Gives me a 1, 8, 9 in here. I mean, with all of these pencil marks, we absolutely can complete this modular line. So just a quick refresher. The groups are 1, 4, 7, 2, 2, 5, 8, and 3, 6, 9. Now, if I just use a different color from blue, yellow, and red, I'm going to go with green, purple, and orange, then back to green, and then back to purple. So this is either 7, 8, or 9, essentially any group. This is 1, 2, or 4, 1, 2, or 4. So really, green in here can't be from 3, 6, 9. It's not an option there. That removes 9 from here. Seven and 8 both work. 1, 2, 4 both work. 5 and 9 both work. What is 1, 8, 9? 1, 8, 9 is from all of them again. You know how I said we can almost certainly crack it now? I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true at all. That's not a 1. One of these is a 1. That's a 1. That would be a 7. Purple's still tricky with 5 and 9. But then that wouldn't be 1. That would be 8. In fact, that's not 1. Because this is green. If 1 is here and green, this has to be different from a different group. If this is the 1, well, it's Sudoku and it's not 1. So 1 is gone from here. So essentially, I kind of want to sort of illustrate this now. These are the possible orange combinations. These are the possible green combinations. And these two are the purple combinations because 5 and 9 are in here. So green absolutely has to be from 1, 4, 7. Therefore, this is a 7 and this is 1 or 4. Neither of these now are 7s. This is 8, 9. And unfortunately, both of these are valid. And actually, one of them has to be a 9 because it's either 5 and 9 or 9 and 8. Because 9 is the only group from this one. And 5 and 8 are joined up here. Can I use Sudoku to finish? Actually, I'm going to keep this reference for a second. What do I have in here? If I think about this. What's the rest of this? So obviously this is a 3. I could have just placed this ages ago and I didn't. Then what do we have left? So 1, 2. Feels like it's from 1, 2, 4. No, but I've got 2 cells. Sleuth, pay attention, careful. So yeah, these could be like so many options. I mean, if I think purely about purple for a second, so it's not 1, but it can be 2. It's not 3. It can be 4. It could be 5. It's not 6, 7. And it could be 8. Now, can it be 9? No, I think. Let me think about how this would work. Remember, it has to be the same parity, sorry, same modulo. So 4 is actually not an option. It's 2, 5, or 8. And let me just put a 9 down anyway. I'm not sure it can be. Yeah, that's the answer. If you look at the options that we have for this, these two are in the same group. And 3 and 6 are gone. So there's actually only 1 left in here, and we have 2 purples. So they can't be from 3, 6, and 9 because we've literally not got enough of them. So that has to be 5. This can't be 8 anymore. It's got to be a different group. That's 9. That's not a 5. This is 2 or 8. And then this is 2, 8, or 9. It's actually 8 or 9 because 2 is not available. In fact, it's just 9. Therefore, that's 8. That's 9. And this is 2 because we've already placed the 5 and the 8. So that's 2. This is not 2. This is a 1-4 pair. That is a 2. Excellent. I don't know if I've made this way harder than it should have been. Chances are, yes. That 9 gives me a few more things. That's 1. That's 9. That gives me finally the 8, the 4, the 2, the 1, which gives me here the 2 3s. And this is therefore 4 and 1. This, remember, has to be an odd digit. So from 2 and 3, it is 3. It is 2. This has to be even. That's 6. This has to be odd. That's 5. And feels like we're not far off finishing at this point. I'm kind of surprised that these two are still not resolved after all of this. So I'm going to reuse the colors here, the same colors that I've got on this line. That 1 is placed. And therefore 1, 2, 3 along, that's another 1. This is 4 or 7. Now, what is this cell? We know it's not from 147. It can be a 5, as in a purple 5, from 258, or, and that's it, it can't be 369, because it's gone. So that's 5, which means these two have to be orange, and these were 369. 9 and 6 in here means that's a 3. 3 and 6 in here means that's a 9. That's the modulus done. We'll have to kind of, oh, we've got high digit, therefore high digit. One of these is low. It can only be a 1 because 2 and 3 are gone. That 1 tells me it's not in here. That's the 1. That's middle. So this is from 4, 5, or 6. I've broken something. So it's going so well. I must have leapt to some sort of conclusion in this modular line, so apologies. I am going to go back quite a bit because I feel like I was on relatively shaky grounds here. Did I list all the possible options? So purple is either from 2, 5, or 8 as a group, or 3, 6, and 9. And then again, the logic is just solid. I can't have 2 digits from 3, 6, and 9 because 3 and 6 are gone. So unless I made a mistake earlier, that has to be 5. And therefore this can't be from 2, 5, 8. This has to be 9, which gives me the 1, the 9. This is still all correct, unless I made a typo somewhere, which to be fair is very possible. That also gives me the 4, 1. That 1 gives me the direction, so that is the 4, that is the 1. That has to be the odd digit from 3, 2. That has to be a 3. This has to be the 2. This has to be even, therefore 6, and therefore 5. So I'm pretty happy with everything that I got so far. The challenge, of course, is if I put this as high, that's where things break, because that can't be a middle digit. 4, 5, 6 are gone. That 3 tells me that's 2, that's 3. So the only option is this is high, meaning this is from 7, 8, and 9. This is not a 5. You can see I kind of have a virtual 1, 2, 3 between these. So this has to be a middle digit from 4, 5, or 6. I've got 5 and 6 in here. So that has to be 4. Therefore, this has to be low. This is from 1, 2, 3. It's not 3. It's not 2. It is a 1. And then we're back to a middle digit from 4, 5, and 6. And all seem to be valid for the moment. Now, 4 in here means these are not 4s. Therefore, this is the 4. This is a 1. This is a 2. This is an 8, and this is a 9. So I don't know what mistake I made earlier, but seems to have been corrected. That's not a 4 anymore. That's not an 8 anymore either. Strange. I'm not sure what I did wrong. Let's think about what these two are. This is 2, 9, I'm going to say. In fact, that 9 tells me the order. That's 2, that's 9. Therefore, this is not a 9, this is a 7. This is 5 or 6. I actually can't tell which it is. And that's a 9. That 2 finally resolves this pair. That's 4, that's 5. That 4 gives me the 1 and 4. This is a middle digit. This is, I mean, it can be essentially 3 or 9 because it's not a middle digit, and 1, 2 are taken from the lows, so 3 is available. This is just a 3, 9 pair. I may as well write it in. And then 7 and 8 are taken, so this could be a 9. What is this? If this is high, well, it's not 9, it'll be 7 or 8. If this is low, well, 1 and 3 are taken, this would be a 2. So far, it's kind of working. And this is low or high again. I mean, we know it's all 2, 7, and 8. So, not exactly helping me choose anything. That's not a 7. So one of these is a 7. Maybe the modulo 3 line again. So this is green, therefore this is green. What is this cell? 3 or 9 is from the 3, 6, 9 group. So this is orange. And therefore this is orange. And therefore this is purple. This is from 2, 5, and 8. 2 and 8 are gone. That is a 5. These are from 1 and 7. That 1 gives me an order. That's a 1. That's a 7. That's a 3. That's a 7. This is from 3, 6, 9. 3 and 6 are gone. That's a 9. That's a 3. That's a 9. That's a high digit. That's a high digit. And it should have sort of... No, never mind. I was about to say something silly, so ignore it. 8, 7. That's this setup correct. This is from 1, 4, and 7. 1 and 7 are gone. That's a 4. We have a second 5, 6, and it's not this cell because we already placed them. So this is 5 or 6, and this is another middle digit. Therefore, this is another middle digit, and it's not 4, and it's not 5. It is a 6, a 5, a 6, a 5. These are from lows and highs. Well, this is not low with 1, 2, and 3. This has to be high. This has to be low. 3 is available. It's not available. 1 and 2 are. 7 and 8 are not available. This is just a 9. In fact, these are 7, 8s. That 8 gives me an order. That's a 7. That's an 8. This is 1 or 2. It is in fact not a 1. It is a 2, a 1, and then a 3 for the finish. And just some classic Sudoku to bring us home. I need a 6 somewhere in here. That's the 6. I need a 2, which can only be in here. And then if I've not made any more mistakes, that's an 8 for the finish for today. Have a heart, Daniël Rokven. Another incredible puzzle from Daniel. I'm genuinely curious where I made the mistake, so I'm almost certainly going to go back and watch the video. Where did the logic mistake go? I imagine it's something to do with the way that I have pencil marked this for some reason or another. Well, anyhow, I think this was another incredible puzzle. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I certainly did. And that you enjoyed the video as well. And I'll see you back for the next one. Bye-bye for now.